You ever look at your bills and think, how am I supposed to retire with all this weighing me down? I've been there, y'all, and let me tell you, downsizing saved the day for me. Now, I'm not just talking about moving into a smaller house. Downsizing is about trimming the fat in your life, cutting what you don't need, and making room for what really matters. Hey there, it's Pawpaw. Today I'm going to show you how to downsize your life step by step so you can save big for retirement, even if you feel like you're way behind. Stick around because these tips changed my life and they can change yours too. All right, let's dive in and get started. For most folks, housing is the biggest expense. Think about it. What is the first thing that eats up your paycheck every month? Probably your rent or your mortgage, right? Now imagine if you didn't have that weight hanging over you all the time. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? My wife and I felt the same way. We were living in a 2,000 square foot house paying big bills for a space we didn't use. So we made the leap, we built a tiny house, and we moved into just over 800 square foot. Let me tell you, it was a game changer. Less space, fewer bills, less stress. Now I get it, living in a tiny house might not be for everyone, but here's the thing. Downsizing doesn't have to mean going tiny. It's about finding a solution that works for you. Let's talk about some options that you might not have considered yet. Because downsizing isn't just one size fits all, y'all. From traditional moves to more creative ideas, there's a solution out there for everyone. And one of these might just surprise you. First, there's the classic option, sell your current house and buy a smaller one. A smaller house doesn't just save your mortgage, it lowers your utilities, your property taxes, and even the time you spend cleaning. I mean, that's money and time back in your pocket. Then there's, of course, mobile homes. These are great if you're looking for something affordable and low maintenance. Many mobile home communities even have like amenities like pools and clubhouses. It's kind of like downsizing, except you get some more extra perks to it. And of course, there's tiny homes, like I've mentioned before. That I'm a little biased since my wife and I built one, but I can tell you what, they're efficient, they're cozy, and they're perfect for simplifying your life. You can buy one outright, or if you're handy like me, you can build one yourself and save even more money. But maybe you've got an adventurous side. Maybe RV living is right up your alley. Imagine waking up every week with a different view. It's not for everyone, but if you love to travel, it's a lifestyle that could be worth considering. And finally, there's shared housing. This could mean moving in with family or splitting costs with friends. It's not just budget friendly, it's also a great way to stay connected with others. Now, whichever downsizing option that you choose, there's one thing you got to do before you make the move. It's the step that sets the stage for everything else, and it might be the most satisfying part of the process. Let me tell you about it. All right, so you've got your housing figured out, great. But here's the thing, it's not just where you live, it's about what you're spending to live there. Those monthly bills, they add up fast. So let's roll up our sleeves and find some easy ways to cut those down. Here's the deal. Every dollar that you save on bills is a dollar that you keep for retirement dreams. And you might be surprised at how much you're leaving on the table. Let's start with utilities. A few small changes can save you more than you think. First, take a look at your energy usage. Switching to energy efficient appliances might cost a little more up front, but they'll pay for themselves over time with, of course, lower electric bills. And sealing those drafty windows, it's like putting money back in your pocket every month. Here's a quick tip. Unplug electronics when you're not using them. Those sneaky little energy vampires are sucking up electricity and your hard-earned cash, even when they're off. So you use a power strip to make it easier. If you're like me and don't want to unplug everything one by one, you can just go over and flip the little power strip and everything goes off at one time. Now let's talk about something that could save you big bucks in the long run, changing your energy source. For example, moving from electric to propane can be a game changer, especially if you're in an area where propane is cheaper. Or if you got some money saved up, consider adding some solar panels. Yeah, they're an investment up front, but once you've got them installed and going, they can dramatically cut your monthly costs. Some folks even generate enough to sell back to the grid. And how's that for flipping the script on the power company? Utilities are just the start, though. Let's move on to another place where you might be spending too much and not even know it. Take a good hard look at your insurance policies, your car, your home, even your health insurance. I can't tell you how many people stick with the same policy year after year without shopping around. Insurance companies count on that. Call around, compare rates, and don't be afraid to switch if you find a better deal. And if you're heading into retirement, here's a big question to ask yourself. Do you still need life insurance? If no one depends on your income anymore, that might be one less expense to worry about. Just make sure that you're covered where it counts, like health and homeowners insurance. Cutting your monthly bills might not sound exciting, but every little change adds up. And the best part, once you've got this handled, you'll free up room in your budget to tackle the next big opportunity to save. Speaking of which, let's talk about what's sitting in your driveway. All right, y'all. Cars are one of the sneaky expenses that can really drain your wallet if you're not careful. So here's a simple question. Do you really need two vehicles? If you got a car that's just collecting dust most of the time, it might be time to say goodbye to it. Selling an extra car can free up thousands of dollars a year. Think about it. Between insurance and insurance premiums and maintenance and gas, that's all money that you could put straight into a retirement fund or use to knock out your debt quicker. And don't forget, if you sell that car, you get a little extra cash up front to work with too. Here's something to think about. How would your life change if you only had one reliable car? For a lot of folks, the answer is simpler finances and a whole lot of less stress. Now let's talk about the car you do keep. If you're heading into retirement, you really want to make sure that your car is paid off. Car payments can eat into a fixed income faster than you can say interest rate. Stick with a reliable, paid-for car that gets you from point A to point B without breaking the bank. Avoid the temptation to upgrade or finance something new. It's just not worth the financial burden. Now that's me. Driving something dependable and debt-free feels a whole lot better than rolling around in something shiny with a hefty payment to go along with it. Cutting down to one car or making sure your cars are paid off it's all about saving money. It's about freeing up your resources for what really matters. And speaking of saving money, let's talk about another area where costs can sneak up on you, your grocery bill. All right, now, let's head into the kitchen, figuratively, of course. If you're like most folks, groceries and eating out are sneaky little budget busters. You think you're just grabbing a quick bite to eat and a couple of things at the store, and before you know it, you've blown half your budget. But here's the good news. You can save a ton on food without sacrificing taste or quality, and it all starts with a little bit of planning. One of the best ways to cut back is meal planning. Sit down at the start of the week and figure out what you're going to eat and what you're going to cook. Write it down, make a list, and stick to it. When you shop, not only does this cut down on impulse buys, but it also means you're wasting less food. I'll tell you this, when you know what's on the menu, you're not tempted to order takeout or grab expensive snacks that you don't need. Plus, it saves time. No more standing in front of the fridge wondering what's for dinner tonight. Here's a little challenge for y'all. What could you save if for a week you skipped the drive-thru and stuck to a plan? Because you'd be surprised. Now let's talk about buying in bulk. I'm a big fan of stocking up when prices are good. Non-perishables like rice, pasta, canned goods, and household supplies are great to buy in bulk. When you catch them on sale, grab enough to last a little while. Personally, I like to keep about 6 months worth of my basic essentials on hand. It's not just about saving money, it's about peace of mind. Knowing I've got a pantry full of food and supplies means I don't have to stress when prices go up or when I can't make it to the store. And we all know about the problems we have with toilet paper, not being able to find them at certain times. Well, I keep 6 months of toilet paper too. But here's the thing, it's not just about buying smart. It's about using what you have. And that leads us to the next step in downsizing your life. We're going to talk about this, and this can truly change your life and your budget. Minimalism. Now don't worry, I'm not about to tell you to sell everything and live in a bare room with nothing but a chair and a mattress on the floor. It ain't about giving up everything. It's about focusing on what really matters and letting go of what's just taking up space in your home and in your head. First up is decluttering. If you haven't used something in like a year and it isn't bringing any happiness to your life or serving a real purpose, it might be time to let it go. Start small, pick one drawer, one closet, one room to tackle, and trust me, you don't have to do it all at once. But you'd be surprised at how freeing it feels to let go of things that you don't need. Plus, here's the best part. If you sell some of these items, hey, you can make a little extra cash to put towards your retirement or pay down your debt. It's a win-win. And decluttering doesn't just save you money. It saves you time. And there's fewer things to clean, organize, and keep track of. And all that means that you have more time for what really matters and what you really care about. Now here's the kicker. The less clutter you have, the more room you have for what truly matters. Not just in your home, but in your life. And speaking of life, what if a few simple changes to your daily habits could not only save you money, but also could make every day a little sweeter? Stick around. I'm about to show you how. When it comes to buying, focus on quality over quantity. Let me tell you, a well-made pair of boots might cost more up front, but they'll last for years. Compare that to cheap boots that fall apart every season. Those end up costing you way more in the long run. And this isn't just about boots. It applies to everything: furniture, appliances, tools, you name it. Investing in items not only saves money over time, but also keeps your home from filling up with stuff that you don't really need. Minimalism isn't just about the stuff you own, it's about the way you live. And that brings us to the next step: rethinking your lifestyle choices and finding smarter and more affordable ways to enjoy life. Let's get into it. All right, y'all. Let's talk about habits. Sometimes saving money isn't just about big dramatic changes. It's about rethinking the little things you do every day. You don't have to give up the things you love to save money. You just need to find smarter ways to enjoy them. Let's start with entertainment. Instead of those pricey night outs with dinner and a movie and maybe a few drinks, how about hosting a game night with your friends, or pull out a deck of cards or a board game, throw on a pot of chili, and you got yourself a fun, affordable evening. Or if you prefer the outdoors, pack a picnic, head to the local park. Some of the best memories don't cost much at all. Now here's a thought. What if the key to enjoying retirement wasn't just about spending more, but about getting creative with how you spend your time? Let me show you what I mean. If you love to travel, and who doesn't, there are plenty of ways to do it without breaking the bank. Consider taking road trips instead of flying, visiting family for low-cost getaways, or planning your trips during the off-season when all the prices are lower. You'd be surprised how far your money will stretch when you're willing to think outside the box. Not to mention there'd be a whole lot less crowds. One of my favorite tricks is look for free or low-cost activities at your destination, like hiking trails, local festivals, things like that. You can save money and probably get a more authentic experience while you're at it. See, retirement isn't about giving up the things that you love. It's about finding new ways to enjoy them that leave you with more money and less stress. And speaking of saving, let's talk about what you're going to do with all that extra cash. This next step might just be the most important one yet. All right, y'all. We've talked about downsizing and cutting bills and rethinking your habits. So now comes the big question. What are you going to do with all that money that you've saved? The answer is simple. You put it to work. Every dollar that you freed up is a dollar that can help you build your retirement you've been dreaming of. But let's make sure that that money has a plan and a purpose. First things first, if you've got a 401k through work, make sure you're taking full advantage of any employer match. That's free money, folks. Don't leave it on the table. Even if you're starting late, it's never too late to start. And if you don't have access to a 401k, no worries. You can consider opening a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. Both options let your money grow tax-free. And trust me, those tax savings, they add up over time. Now let's talk about your safety net, your emergency fund. Life happens even in retirement. The car breaks down, the roof leaks, or an unexpected medical bill pops up, and having a solid emergency fund means you can handle those surprises without derailing your whole retirement plan. Shoot for 3 to 6 months of living expenses or more if you can, and keep it in a separate high-yield savings account. That way it's accessible when you need it, but not tempting to dip into for non-emergencies. Think about this. Every dollar you save and invest today brings you one step closer to retirement when you don't have to stress about money. So what are you waiting for? Downsizing isn't about giving things up. It's about gaining freedom. When you cut back on the things that you don't need, you make room for what really matters. More time, less stress, and a retirement that you can actually enjoy. So what's the first thing you're going to downsize? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your plans. And if you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who's ready to start their downsizing journey. Now, before you go, check out this video that YouTube thinks you'll like. Honestly, I think YouTube's gotten really, really good at figuring out which one of my videos you'll be most interested in. So go ahead and give it a click and see if they're right. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Paul, and let's work together to make retirement the best chapter of your life. See you guys.